What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, and currently the WBO welterweight world champion, widely considered the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world, Terence Bud Crawford responds to former unified WBC, WBA welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman. Keith Thurman stated that he wanted an immediate fight with Terence Bud Crawford. He said that he feels like Terence Crawford has not proven himself at the welterweight division, and he feels like Terence Crawford is full of himself, right? He says that Terence Crawford truly is getting under his skin, and he wants to face Terence Crawford. He told Terence Crawford and his team to send over a contract. He'll sign it live on Instagram Live, right? He said, don't act like I'm running and ducking you because I'm not. You have proven nothing at the welterweight division. Send over the contract and we'll make the fight happen. Keith Thurman then, I gather, contacted legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter of Terence Bud Crawford, Bob Arum. And Bob Arum said that they were out to lunch with their offer, right? Meaning that they were, unrealistic with the offer that they made. And now it has come out that Keith Thurman is asking for $10 million for the fight with Terence Crawford. Obviously, due to the pandemic and due to there being social distancing and no live fans at live sporting events, that lessens the purses that's available for these fighters, right? The money is just not there. And so Bob Arum is stating that, without the money there, there's no way they could pay Keith Thurman $10 million. With that said, Terence Crawford responds and he tells Keith Thurman, right, and the fans and the boxing pundits, you guys have to be out to lunch to think that I'm avoiding Keith Thurman or ducking Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman knew he wasn't getting $10 million. So he didn't truly want to make the fight. If he truly wanted to fight, he wouldn't have made an offer for $10 million. So when you're ready, Keith Thurman, make a real offer, and I'll gladly, take you out to lunch, so to speak, right? He said, in other words, I'm paraphrasing. So Terence Crawford is stating that, when Keith Thurman's ready to truly make a serious offer, a realistic offer, then he'll accept the fight. The thing is, I don't understand why Terence Crawford is not making a counter offer or making the initial offer to begin with, because he is indeed the A-side. As he stated that Keith Thurman, had lost his belt to Manny Pacquiao, and Keith Thurman lost some of his luster and the way he's perceived. And so Keith Thurman doesn't have the same appeal. So if that's the case, and you're undefeated, you're three-division world champion, you're very accomplished, was undisputed, most people in the boxing world consider the best pound-for-pound boxer, then why don't you make an offer to Keith Thurman? Not wait for Keith Thurman to make a serious offer to you, because you are indeed the A-side. So you were supposed to make an offer, and if he made an offer of $10 million, what's the counter offer coming from Terence Crawford, not waiting for Keith Thurman to make an adjustment to his initial offer to offer Terence Crawford a different offer to make the fight happen, when Keith Thurman, like Terence Crawford stated, is not even a belt holder anymore. He's lost significance. So if that's the case, then Terence Crawford should be making the offer, because at this point in time, I truly can't see what avenue Terence Crawford is going to go in to have any kind of relevant fight in 2020. Because like I stated, when you reach the caliber of fighter that Terence Crawford is at this stage in his career, the fans, the boxing pundits, the boxing world don't want to see mismatches. They want to see Terence Crawford with fights that with somebody that's going to at the very least be a 60-40, 50-50 fight. They want to see Terence Crawford overcome adversity, right? We want to see Terence Crawford in the ring with somebody that can match him with skill set, boxing ability, boxing knowledge, power, speed, athletic ability, so on and so forth. And Keith Thurman represents that. Yes, Keith Thurman has a loss on his resume, but that's nothing to hold his head down to. Keith Thurman has lost to A-division Filipino superstar boxer, world champion, Manny Pacquiao. That's nothing to sneeze at. Pacquiao is still today one of the face of the sport of boxing, if not the face of the sport of boxing, still today. Okay, even at the age of 40. So there's nothing to hold his head down to losing to Manny Pacquiao. It's just like losing to Floyd Mayweather, right? Canelo Alvarez lost to Floyd Mayweather, and it's like he never even took a loss. And then we see guys like Vasyl Lomachenko lose to a journeyman like Orlando Salido, who had 14 losses and multiple draws, and they pretend he didn't even have a loss. So we can't dismiss Keith Thurman because he has a loss to Manny Pacquiao. But in the sense of negotiations, Terence Crawford definitely should be the initiator because he is the A side. He should be the dictator in this entire situation because he is the A side. So he should be making the offer. Now it's up to Keith Thurman to accept the offer Terence Crawford gives him because it's an opportunity for Keith Thurman to regain the title. It's a title opportunity, right? And it's a huge fight for Keith Thurman, right? So in retrospect, you expect Terence Crawford to make the offer. So what avenue is Terence Crawford going to go to if Manny Pacquiao is not available, and more likely Manny Pacquiao is going to face Mikey Garcia? He's only left with Kell Brook as far as a credible opponent goes that the public would accept. Because there's going to come a point in time where the public, the boxing world, the boxing fans are going to get fed up with seeing Terence Crawford in mismatches. And then you start to lose support. Because at the end of the day, it's a testament to Terence Crawford's skill set and his abilities that the boxing world wants to see him in fights with like Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Kell Brook. Because we know that there's not many fighters on the planet that can match Terence Crawford in skill set, boxing IQ, boxing ability, athletic ability, so on and so forth, etc. You get the drift. And so now you want to see Terence Crawford in there with the best, point blank and period. If basketball was a one-on-one game, you don't want to see LeBron James play Avery Bradley's of the world. No disrespect to Avery Bradley. But you want to see LeBron James play against, at the point in the level he reached, against Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard. You don't want to see LeBron James against Patrick Beverley. You don't want to see LeBron James against Keith Bogans. You don't want to see LeBron James against guys like Joe Harris, right? You want to see guys that is going to give LeBron James a serious game and possibly win the game. You want to see the best versus the best. You want to get your money's worth. And that's what needs to be understood. The fans will grow tired. And support will start to fade. So I think that Terence Crawford should be making Keith Thurman an offer because he is the A side. And if you're saying that the PBC fighters like Timothy Bradley, former multi-division world champion, turned analyst on ESPN, Keith Thurman stated that the PBC fighters were avoiding Terence Crawford. Well, that's the furthest thing from the truth now. Because you have guys like, I know it's not realistic in most people's eyes, Gary Russell making offers. Now Keith Thurman making offers. You have guys that are willing to fight Terence Crawford from the PBC side. But now who's Terence Crawford willing to fight? Sean Porter said that he even addressed, looked into possibly fighting Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford told him, not now. It's not the right time. So the boxing world and the boxing fans, like I said, are going to grow tired of Terence Crawford fighting in mismatches. And you want to see him in there with guys that you can identify with, and you can say, oh, this guy may have a chance to beat him. Now, I don't think there's too many guys that could beat him. I think the only guy that can beat him is Errol Spence Jr., undefeated, unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion. Right? Now, I give Showtime Sean Porter a strong case. He can make a strong case. And also Keith Thurman. But at the end of the day, I feel like Terence Crawford can make the necessary adjustments to beat Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. But nonetheless, we want to see him matched up in there and see what adjustments he makes and see how he fares. everybody's growing tired of speaking hypothetically when it comes to Terence Crawford, and you want to see Terence Crawford in there with big fights. So there was a fan that responded and stated to Terence Crawford when he posted this. Let's just look at exactly. Let's just read exactly. So I don't want to get it. People say, well, well, that's not what he said, Blue. He didn't say this. He didn't say that. So we're going to read it verbatim from what Terence Crawford had to say regarding this. He says, at Keith Thurman, he added Keith Thurman, you funny, making it seem like you wanted a real fight with the king, knowing you wasn't going to get no blank 10 million. Look, when you are ever ready, whenever you are ready for real, whenever you are ready for real, I'll be here to smash your blank. And for the blank people that would think I ducked him, y'all go fall off a cliff, y'all blank. Right? So somebody responded by saying, 10 million ain't much for the fight. Sounds like you're ducking. And then put the duck emoji. Terence Crawford responded to this particular person by saying, well, give it to him. Give it to him then, baller. So Terence Crawford told a fan, you the baller, so you give him the $10 million, since $10 million is not a lot of money. Well, Terence Crawford understands that the fan is not speaking from a place of his point of view, where he could pay. He's speaking from from a professional athlete's point of view and professional sports, that $10 million is not a lot of money. It's not that the fan is a baller. It's that the sport of boxing, $10 million, should not be hard to come by if you're on the biggest platform in sports, in the world of sports, in ESPN. But now, like I said, I'm understanding that, it's a pandemic and, things are different today's time. So big money is hard to come by. $10 million is $10 million. But Terence Crawford understand where he was coming from, because he's speaking from a place of you're a professional athlete in professional sports, and you guys make millions upon millions of dollars, and not to mention you are on the biggest platform in all the sports worldwide. That $10 million should not be hard to tally up for a fight of that magnitude. So once again, let's see what avenue Terence Crawford has, what options, and what direction he goes in. I think that he should be making Keith Thurman an offer. But let's see how this all plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.